The medical bracelet glinted under the studio lights. "Kidney transplant recipient," it read in bold letters. But when Ellen asked Rachel Williams how the transplant had changed her life, her answer shocked everyone. "It hasn't, because I never had one." Rachel Williams, 38, sat in the interview chair, wearing the pale, fragile appearance of someone who had mastered the art of looking sick. For 3 years, she had lived as a kidney transplant recipient, complete with medical bracelets, pill organizers, and doctor's appointments. Her social media was filled with inspirational posts about surviving organ failure and the gift of a second chance at life. The Ellen DeGeneres Show had invited Rachel during their Medical Miracles Week to celebrate people who had overcome life-threatening illnesses. Her story had moved producers, a single mother who had received a life-saving kidney transplant and was now advocating for organ donation. She had started a foundation that had raised over $200,000 for transplant patients. What Ellen's producers didn't know was that Rachel had never been sick a day in her life. The transplant was fictional, the medication was vitamins, the foundation money had gone into her personal bank account. For 3 years, she had built an entire identity around a medical procedure that never happened. The deception had begun during her divorce, when Rachel felt desperate for sympathy and support. Claiming kidney failure had brought her family together, generated donations from friends, and given her a compelling reason for why her life wasn't going according to plan. What started as a small lie had grown into an elaborate fraud that now defined her entire existence. "Rachel," Ellen began warmly, "tell us about your transplant journey." Rachel's hand went instinctively to her side. "It's been challenging, but I'm grateful every day for my donor's gift." Ellen nodded with deep respect. "How long ago did you receive your new kidney?" 3 years, 4 months, and 12 days, Rachel said with practiced precision. Ellen felt moved by the specificity. "You remember the exact date. You don't forget the day someone saves your life," Rachel replied. Ellen sensed the weight Rachel seemed to carry. "What was it like before the transplant?" "Dialysis 3 times a week," Rachel said, touching her arm where she claimed the port had been. "Watching my body shut down. Wondering if I'd live to see my daughter graduate high school." Ellen felt her chest tighten with sympathy. "That must have been terrifying." "The scariest part was telling my family," Rachel continued. "Especially my daughter. How do you tell a 15-year-old that mommy might die?" Ellen realized Rachel was describing every parent's nightmare. "How did she handle it?" "She became my caregiver," Rachel said with tears forming. "This kid gave up her teenage years to take care of me." Ellen felt deeply moved by this family's sacrifice. "And now, how are you feeling post-transplant?" "Good days and bad days," Rachel said carefully. "The anti-rejection medications have side effects. But I'm alive." Ellen nodded with understanding. "What medications are you on?" Rachel rattled off a list of immunosuppressive drugs she had memorized from medical websites. Tacrolimus, mycophenolate, prednisone, the usual cocktail. Ellen felt impressed by Rachel's knowledge. "You've become quite the expert on transplant medicine." "You have to be," Rachel said. "Your life depends on understanding every pill, every side effect, every warning sign." Ellen sensed there was more to Rachel's story. "Rachel, what made you decide to start your foundation?" "Because I wanted to help other families going through what we went through," Rachel said. "The financial burden, the emotional stress, the uncertainty." Ellen felt the nobility of Rachel's mission. "How much has the foundation raised?" "Over $200,000, Rachel said proudly. "We've helped dozens of families with medical expenses, travel costs, temporary housing." Ellen was genuinely impressed. "That's incredible. How do you manage the foundation while dealing with your own health issues?" Rachel's expression flickered for just a moment. It's actually been my purpose, my reason for fighting." Ellen noticed the hesitation. "Rachel, is everything okay? I need to tell you something," Rachel said quietly. Ellen felt her stomach drop. "What is it?" "This is going to sound crazy," Rachel said, her voice shaking. But sometimes I feel like I'm living someone else's life. Ellen was confused. What do you mean? Like I'm pretending to be someone I'm not, Rachel said, tears beginning to flow. Ellen realized they were approaching something serious. Rachel, you're scaring me. What are you trying to say? Rachel looked around the studio, at the cameras, at the audience who had been moved by her story. I'm saying that everything I've told you is a lie. The studio fell silent. Ellen felt her world shift. What? I never had kidney failure, Rachel whispered. I never had a transplant. I never even had kidney disease. Ellen stared at Rachel, trying to process what she was hearing. Rachel, that's not possible. It's not only possible, it's true, Rachel said. For 3 years, I've been pretending to be a transplant patient. Ellen felt the ground disappearing beneath her. Why would you do that? Because people care about sick people, Rachel said desperately. Because when you're dying, your family rallies around you. Because when you're fighting for your life, people want to help. Ellen realized the magnitude of Rachel's deception. So the foundation is real, Rachel said quickly. The money is real, but it's been going to me, not to other patients. Ellen felt sick. Rachel, you've stolen money from people who thought they were helping transplant patients. I needed help too, Rachel said defensively. I was drowning in debt after my divorce. My daughter needed things. I couldn't keep up. Ellen felt the betrayal on behalf of everyone who had donated. But you weren't sick. You didn't need medical help. I needed financial help, Rachel replied, and the only way people would give it was if I was dying. Ellen made a decision that felt both necessary and devastating. Rachel, I need you to know something. Rachel looked up with alarm. What? Your doctor is here today. Dr. Martinez from the Kidney Transplant Center. Rachel's face went completely white. That's impossible. I don't have a doctor. You do now, Ellen said gently. When our producers contacted the transplant center to verify your story, they became concerned about a patient they had no record of. Dr. Martinez emerged from backstage, a concerned-looking woman in her 50s, who immediately approached Rachel with professional concern. Miss Williams, Dr. Martinez said, I need to ask you some questions about your medical history. Rachel was hyperventilating. I can explain. Can you tell me who performed your transplant? Dr. Martinez asked. Dr. Johnson, Rachel stammered. There's no Dr. Johnson at our transplant center, Dr. Martinez said gently. Miss Williams, when was your last blood work? Last month, Rachel lied. What were your creatinine levels? Rachel stared blankly. I don't remember. Dr. Martinez turned to Ellen. This woman has never been a transplant patient. She shows no signs of immunosuppressive therapy. Her color, her energy level, her muscle tone, none of it is consistent with transplant recovery. Ellen felt the final pieces falling into place. Rachel, is Dr. Martinez right? Rachel broke down completely. Yes, she's right. I made it all up. Ellen felt overwhelmed by the scope of the deception. All of it, the kidney failure, the dialysis, the transplant, the recovery, all of it, Rachel sobbed. Ellen realized they needed to address the foundation fraud. Rachel, what about the $200,000 you raised? It's gone, Rachel said. I used it for living expenses, my daughter's school, our house payment. Ellen felt sick thinking about the donors. People gave money thinking they were helping transplant patients, and you spent it on yourself. I was desperate, Rachel said. After my divorce, I had nothing. No job, no skills, no way to support my daughter. Ellen realized Rachel had turned crisis into crime. So you decided to fake a terminal illness? I didn't plan it, Rachel said. It started small. I told one friend I was having kidney problems to explain why I looked tired. She told other people. Before I knew it, everyone was treating me like I was dying. And you liked the attention? I liked the help, Rachel corrected. For the first time in years, people cared about me. They brought me meals. They watched my daughter. They offered to pay for things. Ellen felt the sad psychology behind Rachel's choices. But it spiraled out of control. When people started donating money, I told myself I deserved it, Rachel said. I was struggling, I needed help. What did it matter if they thought I was sick? Dr. Martinez addressed Ellen directly. This is more serious than financial fraud. Miss Williams has been taking immunosuppressive medications unnecessarily. These drugs suppress the immune system and can cause serious health problems in healthy people. Ellen turned to Rachel with alarm. You've been taking real transplant medications? I had to, Rachel said. People expected to see pill bottles, side effects, doctor visits. I researched everything online and bought medications from overseas pharmacies. Dr. Martinez looked horrified. Miss Williams, you could have caused yourself real kidney damage with those medications. But I haven't, Rachel said desperately. I'm fine. I'm healthy. You're lucky, Dr. Martinez replied. But you need immediate medical evaluation to make sure you haven't harmed yourself with unnecessary immunosuppression. Ellen made another announcement. Rachel, your daughter is here today. She's been waiting backstage to surprise you. Rachel's face crumpled. Ellen, please, don't tell her. This will destroy her. She has a right to know, Ellen said. She spent 3 years believing her mother was dying. Emily Williams, 18, emerged from backstage carrying flowers and wearing a t-shirt that read, "My mom is a transplant warrior." She was beaming with pride and love, completely unaware that her world was about to shatter. Mom, Emily said, rushing to hug Rachel. I'm so proud of you for sharing our story on Ellen. Rachel held her daughter, knowing this might be the last time Emily looked at her with admiration instead of disgust. Emily, Ellen said gently, your mother was just telling us something important about her transplant. Emily smiled brightly. It's been amazing watching her recovery. She's my hero. Ellen felt her heart break for this innocent young woman. Emily, what has it been like caring for your mother? Hard, but worth it, Emily said. I've learned so much about strength and courage from watching her fight. Rachel was crying silently, unable to meet her daughter's eyes. Ellen made the most difficult decision of her hosting career. Emily, I need to tell you something about your mother's transplant. What about it? Emily asked, her smile beginning to fade. She never had one, Ellen said as gently as possible. Emily stared at Ellen as if she'd spoken in a foreign language. What? Your mother has never been sick, Ellen continued. The kidney failure, the transplant, all of it has been pretend. Emily turned to her mother with growing confusion. Mom, what is she talking about? Emily, Rachel said through tears, I need to tell you the truth. What truth? Emily's voice was rising with panic. I was never sick, Rachel said. I made it all up. Emily stepped back from her mother, as if she'd been struck. You what? I pretended to have kidney failure because I needed help, Rachel said desperately. After the divorce, I couldn't handle everything alone. Emily's face went through a series of emotions, confusion, disbelief, and finally, devastating understanding. You mean all those nights I stayed up with you during dialysis? Emily asked. I was just tired, Rachel whispered. All those times I gave up plans with friends to take care of you? I'm sorry. All those people who donated money thinking you were dying? Rachel couldn't answer. Emily looked at her mother with a mixture of love and betrayal that was heartbreaking to witness. Mom, how could you do this to me? I did it for you, Rachel said. To give us a better life. You did it to me, Emily corrected. You stole 3 years of my life taking care of someone who wasn't even sick. Ellen watched this family disintegrate in real time. Emily, how are you feeling? Like everything I believed about my mother is a lie, Emily said. Rachel reached for her daughter. Emily, please. I'm still your mother. I still love you. Emily pulled away. But you're not who I thought you were. The woman I admired for being so brave doesn't exist. Ellen felt the devastating impact of Rachel's choices. Rachel, what do you want to say to Emily? That I'm sorry, Rachel sobbed. That I never meant for it to go this far. That I love her more than anything. But not enough to tell me the truth, Emily said quietly. The episode never aired as planned. Instead, Ellen worked with authorities to address the financial fraud and helped connect Emily with counseling services to process the trauma of discovering her mother's elaborate deception. Rachel was charged with wire fraud for the foundation money and was required to pay restitution to donors. She was sentenced to 18 months in federal prison and 3 years of supervised probation. Emily moved in with her aunt and finished high school. She struggled with trust issues and anger, but eventually found healing through therapy and support groups for families affected by fraud. 6 months later, Ellen received a letter from Emily. She had started college and was studying psychology, hoping to help other families navigate the aftermath of deception and betrayal. "I learned that my mother's love was real, even if everything else was fake," Emily wrote. "But I also learned that love without honesty isn't enough to build a relationship on." Ellen kept that letter as a reminder that sometimes the most devastating betrayals come from the people we trust most, and that healing from that kind of betrayal requires not just forgiveness, but a complete rebuilding of what love and trust mean. Because Rachel learned that stolen sympathy is never as valuable as earned respect, that fake illnesses can create real trauma, and that the most expensive lie is the one that costs you the trust of the people who love you most. The medical bracelet that Rachel had worn so proudly was evidence in her fraud case, but the real evidence of her crime wasn't what she wore. It was what she had stolen from her daughter: 3 years of childhood, the security of trust, and the belief that her mother was the hero she had pretended to be.